guys, how y'all doing? On my way home from work today, I had stopped by Chick-fil-A to get the good. I got 2 salads. I forgot to tell them with no tomato. One has the spicy filet, which is so good. And the other is just the regular grilled filet, which is so good. And I got the avocado ranch and the garden ranch, and I usually just mix them together on both of them. On my way home, I am a little tired today. I was feeling a little iffy. Those who know, you know. No, it's not COVID. No, it's not the flu. No, it's nothing extreme. It's just some days are up, some days are down. That's all I can say. So I went for a walk today. My boss, he went with me. So that was kind of, I think it was like for maybe 10 minutes. So when I get home, I need to get back on the bike and do the extra 10 minutes because I'm supposed to be doing my cardio for 20 minutes a day per my cardiologist, which I think I have to find another cardiologist because they canceled my appointment in April because I think something with my insurance. Maybe he's no longer a provider for my insurance. I don't know, but he was so great. Oh, he was such a good cardiologist, so I'm just going to have to see what I can do. But anyway, on my way to run one more errand before I have to go home and prepare for Bible study. There's so much that goes into going out of the country, driving out of the country. I'm driving to Canada in July, and there's just so many different things that I have to pay attention to, that I have to work on, the whole 9 yards. It is what it is. But so I had to go home, and I'm going to record a video today. But so that I can post it on my other channel. But I posted a video on my TikTok today. Steward Well Budgeting, Steward Well Living. If you type either one of those in, it should come up. I posted a video there, and it was talking about the sense of uneasiness that I didn't say uneasiness, the sense of uncertainty, which is uneasiness, but uncertainty that I've had recently about so many different moving parts and factors in my life. Sometimes you have a plan, you have a goal, you have a strategy, and things just do not go according to plan. And it gets even harder when nothing goes according to plan. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, that's really just been the mentality that I've been having lately. Like, what am I doing wrong? Clearly, I have to be doing something wrong if nothing is going to plan. Hold on, y'all. So I'm on my way home. I was talking about, back to what I was saying, the feeling of uncertainty and like things not going right, or according to plan. I'm not going to say that they're not going right, because sometimes we don't feel like it's right, but you know, God is working it all in our favor. We just don't see it yet. So I'm not going to say that it's not going right. It's just not going according to plan. And so I was in prayer, and I was talking to God, and I said, Lord, there's a goal that I'm trying to hit. And I put the work in, I'm working hard, all of that kind of stuff. If I don't hit that goal by a certain time frame, I'm going to take it as you telling me it's not meant to be. Like, I'm going to take it as you saying that this is not what you have for me, right? And so I'm saying, like, I know what's in me. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can do. And so I've been asking God for like the strategy and the wisdom to be able to do it, to be able to do it and it be fruitful. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, if it doesn't happen, like if I do all of this and by this particular time there's no growth, there's no development, there's nothing coming back that says, okay, this is good, then I'm gonna just I'm gonna have to go like this, because it's just not worth it. Like, the stress and the headache that comes from it, to not get a return on the investment, is not worth it. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth the stress. And I mean, I work. You have no idea how much time. Some of you do, but there's so much time that I put into a thing, and for it to not, I'm just not at the place where I'm comfortable or cool with wasting my time. It's too precious. So yeah. So in the video, I was talking about how I, decided, like, I felt compelled to just read my Bible while I was going through that. And I ended up in Judges chapter number 4. It's talking about Deborah. Just happened to be my name, but that's not, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. I was talking about Deborah and how she was a judge at the time, and, she would sit under her tree, her palm tree, called Deborah, sit under Deborah's palm tree, and she would judge the people. And so at one point she, had called Barak, or Barak, however you pronounce his name, told him to come, and as he came, she just began to remind him of what God said, right? Like, to go, and he was going to give Israel the victory over the place and things like that. Like, just reminding him of God's instruction and what God said and what the outcome of it would be. And after she told him that, he replied to her and said, well, I'll go and I'll do it if you go with me. And she said to him, oh yeah, because this victory is not for your honor. Like, it's not for you to get the accolades over. She said, because this will be done, like, he's going to give the victory through the hands of a woman. And if you remember, J.I. wasn't nothing to play with. Okay, all right. She nailed that man's head to the ground. But anyway, so there was a few things that I took out of that, right? That I felt like God was speaking to me. I'm not saying that that's what the text was saying, but I'm saying this is what I feel like God was encouraging me through that. And one is just that to remember the call that he has for me, right? Like, he called me to this work. Like, just like Deborah was called to judge, and she was called to do what she was doing in that season, in that time of her life, and in that time of the people of Israel's lives. God called me to this, to what I'm doing, because this wasn't like, it wasn't something that I woke up and was like, oh, let me just do, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like God laid it out for me as plain as he could. That's number one. Number two is a reminder, like, to remind me, of the assignment, the task, the purpose that he called me to before I got to this place of uncertainty, right? Like, there is a purpose and a call that he gave me before I found myself battling within myself because nothing's going right. Remember the purpose. Remember what I said. Remember what I promised. Remember what I spoke. Remember my plan that I had for you before you got to this place of feeling down or in despair. And then the third thing was, he said he's going to deliver or bring the victory through the hands of a woman. And y'all don't understand the level of fight that I've had since taking on, if those who don't know, I'm a woman preacher, and I'm also a sister pastor, right? And I'm so young, so that sounds so crazy, but my dad is in my dad's church, and it's a long story, because this would have never been a life I would have chosen for myself. We'll talk about that one day. But the have been so many people, you know, bucking up against the idea that it's meant for me. And God reminded me, regardless of what anybody says, how anybody feels, what message or agenda anybody pushes, I'm going to let this purpose be fulfilled through your hands. And that encouraged me so much, because I feel like God was reminding me of the promise through His Word. Has that changed how things are? No, it hasn't. Things are still in a weird place. This is just me being honest and upfront. But it gave me something to hold on to. It gave me something to say. Okay, be patient. God's got it covered, and it's going to be fine, you know. I just have to keep that in mind. It's just, I cannot deny the fact that sometimes things can get overwhelming. Not the workload, but rejection can get overwhelming. Being mishandled by people can get overwhelming. I'm an introvert, very much so. Some people that wouldn't believe that, because I have always, in the present place that I'm in my life, I am forced to be an extrovert. I'm forced outside of my comfort zone. So because of that, because I'm willing to say, you know what, I'm going to just go with the flow and what God plans for my life, people mistake that for me, you know, being an extrovert. Like they think, oh no, you're really extroverted, you're just saying that. No, I'm not just saying that. Like, please let it go. I'm not just saying that. If I could not deal with people, I would not. But when you are forced out of your comfort zone because you are just determined to fulfill God's plan for your life, right? When you are pushed outside of your comfort zone to lead a people, especially in the more than one capacity that I'm doing it. And then once you get outside of your comfort zone and you're not really a people person anyway, and now the people that you have to be around are also mishandling you, is weird. It's weird because it's like, I don't want to be out here anyway. No, seriously. It's like, I don't want to be out here anyway. And so now I'm out here and I'm being pushed out here, forced to be out here. I could go back in my shell, but at the same time, it's like, okay, but if I go back in my shell, I won't be doing what God called me to do. And is that really what I want to do with my life? Y'all understand my dilemma? Do you see my plight? I'm trying with everything in me. Y'all just don't know I'm trying so hard. And God has been my help. He's been helping me. And I'm sorry. God is my life. Like, I don't know what else to tell y'all. Like, He done pulled me out of some tough situations. So, to be in a place now where it's just like, I don't know. Let me tell you, because we're in a car chat, we're only 10 minutes in, let's talk. There was a time where in my life where I wanted to unalive myself. I was depressed. I had low self-esteem. I did not have friends. It was heavy and it was tough. It was hard. It really, really was. I was the black sheep of the family, if you will. It was rough. It was rough. Y'all have no idea. So I found myself in a place of isolation, in a place of not feeling adequate. I found myself in a place of not feeling worth living. So I wanted to unalive myself. I attempted, thank God I did not succeed on more than one occasion. We'll talk about that another day. One day I was in church. I'm a P baby, grew up in church all my life. Have I been perfect? No. We'll talk about that another day. But I grew up in church. And so one Sunday we were in church. And I was feeling so just down and defeated. I had already, you know, had my 2 attempts and they were not successful. So church was going on and I had my head down because I was, again, just in a weird spot. Like, this is just too much. So I say to God, I'm like, God, I'm telling you right now, if you real, I need you to tell me you real, because if not, this is the last time I'm coming in this church. Like, the next time I try, I'm gonna be successful. I'm not even playing. Like, God, I need to know you for real. Like, you're real. I need to experience you. And you got to let me know you up there. Because if you don't, I'm going to have to go ahead and let this go. I can't take this no more. Just as I finished saying that, I felt this warm embrace. I ain't got no reason to lie to y'all. I don't know y'all like that. Don't get me wrong. We here with it. All right. But I'm just saying, I don't sit and make up stories. It's a true situation. I just felt this warmth, like this warm hug wrap around me. It felt so good. Like, it was a hug of life. You ever hugged somebody and they had a hug that just made you feel like everything was gonna be all right? Like, they hugged you so tightly, so warmly, that it just gave you a sense of calm and peace. That's what that hug was. Just warmth. I just was enveloped in peace and joy. And I was crying at the time. And so when that happened, I looked up because I just knew it was somebody standing over me, hugging me. I knew it was. I knew it was. I knew that it was somebody right up here that then hugged on me. I look up. There was no person standing there. Nope. There was no person standing there. It was just me. And when I saw that nobody was standing there, but I knew the hug, like when I set up, the hug didn't stop. I want you to understand. I still felt the warmth of the hug. Like, I still felt like I was being held when I looked up and nobody was there. When I tell you, when I put my head back down in my lap, I bawled like a baby in that church service. I can't tell you what happened. I can't tell you what the sermon was that day. This was years ago, decades even. I can't tell you what that sermon was about. Like 1 decade and some change. I'm not that old, okay? I can't tell what the sermon was about. Can't tell you nothing that happened in the service. None of that. I remember that day so vividly. And I was sitting. I do remember that my pastor at the time, she would. What is you doing? I do remember that my pastor at the time, she was preaching, and it was a packed service, and I had to sit closer to the back of the church. That's how many people were there. And when I tell you, when I put my head back down in my lap, I bawled like a baby. And all I heard God say was, I'm here. I'm not about to cry. That's all I heard God say was, I'm here. And I just boo-hooed. I felt it like he was holding me, so I just cried in his arms. I really did. Like, I'm not kidding. I just bawled, being held by God. And from that day forward, it changed how I viewed things. It changed my perspective, because he let me know that I was not by myself. So every time I went through something difficult, I remembered that moment and him saying, I'm here, I got you. That's when I knew God was real, the God that everybody was around here shouting over, you know. And don't get me wrong, I was a born again believer at the time. So at one point in my life, I felt like I knew that God was real, you understand what I'm saying? But because I was going through so much, I was just like, nah, this can't be it. This can't be it. That day for me solidified the truth that God was real. Nobody would ever be able to change my mind from that moment. And it solidified for me that no matter what I'm going through in this life or how hard it is, that I am not alone. No matter how hard it is, no matter what I'm going through physically, no matter the mental struggle, no matter the spiritual warfare I encounter, I'm not alone. And I want to encourage you today, if you feel like, it's a lot going on and it's one thing after the other, and you just don't know where to turn next, I'm going to pray that the warmth and the love and the embrace of God that embraced me to let me know that I was not alone will embrace you and let you know that it is going to be okay. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, I was in church and I had a lot going on in church on Sunday, so my voice is still gone. I am not sick. I do not have a cold. If you hear me sniffling, it's because, I just had a whole moment. So I'm still trying to gather myself. But I'm not sick or anything. It's literally just, I was in church, praising the Lord, nonstop on Sunday. I had 4 different services. If you include Christian education, which is Sunday school, I had 4 services. And yeah. So, Logan. So, what was I saying? I don't remember. I don't recall. I have to go home because our church is having a prayer revival this week. So I have to get the schedule together. I'm in the process of making notepads that are going to go on the website. So I have to finish putting the notepads together. And then when I finish the notepad, what else I need to do? There's some things that I need to print, but I can't think of it at the top of my head. Oh, the next card set for my YGS mailbox savings challenge. Yeah. So that's all that I have to say for now. I will see you all. If this video is not over 30 minutes, just a card chat alone, I will add the next part into this vlog. If not, all the stuff that you see me doing today, like the shop vlog, everything that you see me doing today, I'll most likely add into another vlog if the card chat is longer than 30 minutes. If not, then it'll all be in one. Okay? All right, love y'all. We'll talk soon.